Hiya.
Hello.
Welcome to Enemy Albums Club this week with me, Tom Howard.
And me, Larry Bartley.
Larry Bartley. Larry, as you will all agree, looks lovely today, doesn't he? And as per normal, we are going to talk about 3 albums. 2 which are out today, and 1 which came out a very long time ago. We'll come to that later. Of course, that's the little
secret.
That's the little treat at the end. But the first album we're going to talk about is by this person.
In Malibu, next to you. In Malibu.
So this person is Miley Cyrus. She's got an album out called Younger Now. Do you like it, Larry?
I don't know, it's alright, isn't it? She's 24 years old, and this is her 6th album. That's quite a lot of albums.
That's good going.
Yeah.
That's good going, yeah.
And I don't know, I think it's a bit weird, because she had one called Bangers, which was full of bangers a few years ago, and then she had one with The Flaming Lips,
Yeah.
which was all psychedelic, and now she's gone all country, which is a bit weird.
I guess so, yeah. And I guess this is her being not mad anymore, because she had a bit of a mad, well, not mad, it's the wrong word, unwoke word. She had a naughty period,
An experimental period.
Where she did things like she was naked a lot, topless photo shoots, dressing up in kind of strange outfits. Not kind of, it wasn't sort of like Justin Bieber bad behaviour, where, you know, she was doing things like throwing eggs at neighbours' houses and things. It was more like she was just kind of experimenting with. She was enjoying her own body and
pushing boundaries.
Pushing boundaries, exactly. And she did things like she performed with like Robin Thicke at the VMAs and things like that. And blah, blah. But anyway, this as you can see from this picture here, she's got a different look going on now.
Yeah.
Much more back to basics.
And the sound reflects that. It's quite wholesome and safe, I think.
Yeah, on this Wrecking Ball video, this was a big thing also.
She regrets that now, she says.
She was naked in. She's not naked here. Lots of nudity. But yeah, she's sort of over that now for however long. And yeah, back to basics. Dolly Parton's on it.
Dolly Parton's on
who
it.
she's related to.
There's a song about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Called Inspired. That's quite nice. I like that one.
Yeah. Do you think we see? I think what we're maybe we're trying not to say, but maybe we should just say, is that at this moment in time, Miley Cyrus as a person is probably more interesting than her music.
Yeah. That's not to say the music isn't all right.
She is an undeniably fascinating pop star.
Yeah.
She says great stuff. She's smart, I think, and she's got, and it's great that she's doing. That she's not stuck in any kind of rut. And she feels confident that she can try loads of different things, and she can write songs about, you know, she can just be like, yeah, I'm just going to write a song about Hillary Clinton now. You feel like she makes decisions very. She just goes, yeah, I'm going to do that. No one's going to stop me, and that's what I want to do, and I'm going to live with my decision. Yeah. Even if I regret it in 5 years' time, that's fine. That's okay. I'm just going to live. You know? Yeah. I think it's quite inspiring, Larry.
Is it inspiring? I don't know. Like, that she explained how, because before Trump was elected, she said I would leave America if he gets elected, and then obviously she has not done that.
Yeah. Have you read why she hasn't done that though?
Yes, I have. She says, "What good am I outside of America?"
Exactly.
Why not just be in America? But
why should she leave America, Larry?
Yeah, exactly what she said she would say.
She likes it.
But this music doesn't really feel like the stuff she was making before seems like what she should be making now. Kind of the boundary pushing, challenging people's taste. That's kind of important in post-Trump America. And this is very middle of the road, appeals to everyone.
So at a time where she should have made an anti-establishment album, she's made
a very establishment
album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, I can see that like she's maybe feels like she's done all that stuff before, and it's alright as well. Some Malibu is a good single.
Yeah, I like Malibu.
Yeah,
definitely. Malibu's nice. Yeah.
It's kind of, there's like influences of like Elvis and Dixie Chicks and Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's on it. So if you like country, then great news for you. But
Yeah, although I don't actually think it's as country as a lot of people have said. Like, a lot of it's just quite sort of just, you know, just some nice pop songs.
yeah, yeah. But there's a tinge, there's like a bluegrass tinge.
There's
to some of
definitely
it.
a tinge, and certainly with the visuals accompanying the album and the acoustic guitar that she's you know, carrying. But yeah, no, maybe you're right. Maybe Miley Cyrus is maybe her job right now should be to be a bit more. This should be like an anti-Trump album.
Yeah, yeah. But maybe she started writing it before and then was just like, well, I'm going to go with it. Who knows where she'll go next? 'Cause she's got this crazy track record.
But that is what's exciting about Miley
jumping.
Cyrus, isn't it? You just don't know.
Yeah. What would
But
you?
can you trust her?
I think that's a question for her, probably.
Can you trust her? You're going to ask me what I give it out of 5?
I was going to ask you that. How many acoustic
5.
guitars?
5.
5.
What are you going to give it?
I think I'll give it a 4.
Yeah,
it's all right, isn't it?
I don't give it 5. I give it a 2.5.
Really?
Yeah. Savage. Absolutely
That is
savage.
savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I'm too old for Miley Cyrus. I'm 33. But I like her quotes. She gives good quotes. Really, really good.
Like, I'm fighting hate with love.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the next album we're going to talk about is Visions of a Life by Wolf Alice. Okay, Visions of a Life by Wolf Alice. Larry, tell us some data,
About Wolf Alice.
facts, information.
Wolf
Yeah.
Alice, if you don't know already, they are a North London 4-piece. They make indie music. They champion Corbyn. They're generally pretty great. Their debut album went to number 2. It was called My Love Is Cool.
Yeah.
And
Came out in
this is-
2015.
Yeah, just before Glastonbury. And here is their second album, and it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is good, yeah. I particularly like the first track they put out from it called Yuck Fu, which is very clever because it is, of course, a spoonerism for fuck you. But
Radio hosts all over the country were like, "Ooh, don't say it wrong."
yeah, and it's really great and it's really shouty. And it's in my ideal world, all Wolf Alice's songs would be like that.
It would be quite a lot of shouting, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be good?
It would be about 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
10 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Yuck Fu's great, isn't it?
It's really great, yeah. But you're right. It'd be quite one-dimensional, and Wolf Alice are absolutely not one-dimensional. They are multi-dimensioned.
Yeah.
They lots of different sounds.
They've spoken about recently about how they were told initially that they should have a thing, like one thing, rather than several things. Like they should be Florence and the Machine or Evanescence, not this kind of multi-genre thing. But yeah, on this album there's like shoegaze with the opening track Heavenwards, you've got punk with Yuck Fu, there's some spoken word stuff on Sky Musings, kind of indie funk on Beautifully Unconventional, yeah, and then there's this grungy one called Formidable Cool that's brilliant, and the finale is 8 minutes long, doomy, full of solos. It's great.
They've done quite well at like it's hard sometimes if you're a guitar band at the moment to make to really stand out because people tend to just either ignore you or just say that you sound like loads of other guitar bands or something, unless you're already a huge, you know, for like the Foo Fighters. But if you're a new guitar band, Wolf Alice have done very well at creating their own sound and their own look and their own thing, and I think that's what's brilliant about them.
Yeah.
That's particularly about Ellie, the singer.
Yeah.
She seems she's a very potent force.
Yeah.
I think at their live shows and she's a very good focal point, and she's quite I'm not going to say that everything in the world is inspiring today, but I think she
is an inspirational figure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think they're a very exciting band, and we should all be very excited about them. I think they should be headlining festivals next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they are.
I would be surprised if they are.
Really?
Well, which festivals?
I don't know, Reading and Leeds.
Yeah. I would be surprised if they headline, but maybe one day, but not next year. They might headline like truck festivals. There's
the problem of like not having new headliners.
There's
I think
no
they are a
reflection
good
on
new
their quality.
headliner.
No reflection on their quality. Just more how big they are.
Yeah. Okay.
But one day for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, who knows? You know, I could be completely wrong. This new album might sell 1 million copies in 3 days. And
I think interestingly, they've not had any singles do that well on the singles chart, but on the albums chart, they've done well with their one album so far. They've done very well. So
yeah, right. Kind of an albums band.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would you give this out of 5?
Out of 5. Well, actually, Larry, before we do that, I was going to tell you something interesting.
Okay, go ahead.
Believe you me,
Tom.
it is interesting. So they're also in a film.
Yes.
Called On the Road, which is coming out next Friday. It's not a film about them as such, it's more a film with them in it. It's directed by Michael Winterbottom, who he directed 24-Hour Party People, which of course was about Factory Records and Joy Division and Happy Mondays and bands like that. And he was asked by NME's own Alex Flood if like how Wolf Alice compare to those bands, and he said that they have that same organic quality and that they formed when they were really young and they know each other really well and they have an intense intimacy, which I think is quite a nice way to talk about Wolf Alice, because you can tell that.
Yeah.
And if you ever hang out with Wolf Alice, you can tell there's lots of if you interview them, there's a lot of in-jokes going on there that you don't really, it's quite hard to enter their world, maybe. It's quite a tight-knit thing, and they're very, they're working on something together, which makes it easier maybe if you're very well connected with the human beings you're trying to create things with, it's easier to kind of like work on new ideas together, and maybe that's why they've been able to make a second album that is really quite far. It's a giant leap from their first album. There's a lot of ideas going there. They managed to keep it very coherent, and they've managed to, and you feel like they are themselves very coherent. And you know, they're a good old-fashioned band as a gang, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you give it out of 5, Larry?
I think I'm going to give it 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 too.
Yeah.
Why not? If they were all yuck foos, I'd give it 10 out of 5. Of course. Okay, the next album we're going to talk about is the classic album, which came out 20 years ago.
Literally today, 20 years ago. 29th of September.
The classic album that came out literally 20 years ago today is Urban Hymns by The Verve. The Verve, of course, where to begin with The Verve? Well, I suppose Urban Hymns is by far and away The Verve's biggest album, but it was their 3rd album, and it came out in 1997. And they were definitely part of Britpop, although it doesn't, I guess it sounds like Britpop. But it came out, so I think maybe a nice way to look at Urban Hymns is that it came out in the same year that Oasis released Be Here Now, and that Blur released Blur. So they were both sort of going down the other side of the Britpop mountain that they'd both scaled previously, leaving the peak open for a new band, and the Verve just shot up with Urban Hymns and became this kind of, obviously Oasis and Blur remained massive bands, but they kind of, you know, the initial buzz that maybe surrounded them, you know, levelled off a little bit. And the Verve just kind of came up and became massive, and Urban Hymns became massive. And
won a Brit Award in 1998.
A Brit Award,
yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah. Well, I didn't. So I in 1997 I was 14 years old, and as such I was massively into Urban Hymns, but I didn't totally get how big it was until I was looking it up today. And it is the 18th best-selling album in UK chart history. Did you know that?
That's quite good, isn't it?
That's big, isn't it? That is massive.
I'd be quite proud of that.
It's a genuinely massive album. And for a band who, they're sort of quite a troubled band. They'd had 2 albums before. They'd had Northern Soul and forgotten the name of the first, first album. There's a good tension at the heart of the band. There's Richard Ashcroft. Is this kind of wild, shamanic rock and roll hero, and then there's Nick McCabe, he's the guitarist, and there's a lot of drugs going on, and there's you know, McCabe wasn't going to be on Urban Hymns at first, I don't think.
Yeah, and then he came back.
He left the band after Northern Soul, and then but anyway, it blew up. It was huge. It's got Bittersweet Symphony on it, which is obviously the most famous song on that album, and loads of other sing-along tunes like The Drugs Don't Work, Sonnet, Lucky Man, a mixture of enormous anthems and slightly more reflective acoustic numbers.
Yeah.
And now your turn to talk.
Well, yeah, I was 6 years old when this album came out, so I don't really remember listening to the album much, but I remember Bittersweet Symphony. I remember mainly from Cruel Intentions. It was like the soundtrack of that film.
Right, okay.
But yeah, also Lucky Man, Drugs Don't Work, all kind of iconic singles. But the album itself, it's obviously massive. They went on tour and then Nick McCabe left after about 9 months or something. Mm-hmm. So it was sort of, I think it's commonly now seen as like the swan song of Britpop, because it's when things started to...
Yeah, maybe. Decline. Well, and they themselves, they didn't release another album until 2008.
Yeah, and then they split up again in 2009.
Yeah, but they did get to headline Glastonbury in 2008, which I wasn't there, but by all accounts was a triumphant event with Richard Ashcroft at his absolute finest. But it's funny because they're definitely one of those bands who, I don't know, I feel like you forget how big they were.
Yeah.
Like they were huge.
They sold 10 million copies, which is quite a lot, isn't it?
It's loads, yeah. They were. I mean, Richard Ashcroft's not a guy who, he's not in tabloids, or he doesn't turn up in people. I don't know if people don't care about him, but he's low key. You know?
He's not a Gallagher. That's what you're saying.
Well, kind of, but or a Damon Albarn, or any of that, or Jarvis Cocker. You know, he doesn't. He's not on the radio. He doesn't do anything really.
So he doesn't court the not fame, but like
he released a solo album a couple of years ago. But I mean, obviously Nick McCabe is even more low key. I've got no idea what he's doing these days. But I remember at the time there were tracks like Neon Wilderness. So I was very much into Oasis and all that kind of stuff. And there was a song like Neon Wilderness was just blew my mind, because it was like this quite slow, trippy thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is this? I thought,
what's going on here?
I thought music only sounded like What's the Story, Morning Glory. I had no idea that this stuff was a thing. So I think they're quite I don't know, they're quite a they're definitely a bit of a Trojan horse thing going on there, where they went to the top of the charts and everything, and there was some kind of weird psychedelic stuff going on. You know, it wasn't all just like straightforward rock.
It's kind of a shame it didn't work out for them, because this was so big, and then they just imploded.
It's always the way, though, isn't it?
It is always the way.
It's always the way. Probably wouldn't have been so big had there not been the fatal flaw at the heart of the band, Larry.
Yeah.
There's loads of good stories surrounding the Verve, and some good, some bad, and one bad about Bittersweet Symphony is that they have to. It's sort of their Blue Monday by New Order, in the sense that they have to pay out, or they have had to pay out huge amounts of royalties to the Rolling Stones, because they stole it. They stole an orchestral sample from. They sampled the orchestral version of the Rolling Stones song "The Last Time" without asking. So there's a lesson in there for all of us, Larry.
Always ask before sampling.
Don't steal, always ask. Yes. Do you have any further thoughts about the Verve album Urban Hymns?
My last thought is that it's an hour and 9 minutes long, which I think is a bit too long.
I think maybe that's fine.
Is it?
Yeah, because I think that's their whole vibe. Big,
it's grand.
Grandeur, yeah, absolutely.
No, it is very grand.
Yeah.
It's a bit heavy for me. A bit rich. It's like a sodden cake.
I think the Verve are the sort of band maybe that if you're into them, you want that full hour and 9 minutes, because you want to be taken on a journey. Yeah. Okay. Sure. You want to feel the feels, and you want to, and it's, the choruses are so big, you just want to keep going again.
You're soaking
Let me sing it again.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky man. All that. You want that. Yeah. I think an hour and 9 minutes is modest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Give it a listen today. Pay tribute to this.
Would you give it out of 5, Larry?
I would say 4, because I'm not entirely. I'm not. It doesn't hold that nostalgic value for me.
Yeah, I think like many of the albums that came out at that time, if you weren't there,
You weren't there.
who gives a shit?
But it is.
But
it's a classic.
I was there, so I give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good.
Yeah. And that is
Result.
the end. Bye.
Bye bye.